Good morning. I'm back at it this morning. I work at a music store, so I don't go to work till 1 o'clock. So I'm pretty well free most every morning. Some mornings I have other things to do. But what I'm doing now is I have drilled the little hole and put in my peg for my stooge right here. I went ahead and mounted the wing. I'm going to add the video to that because I didn't get it in the video. We'll tilt this up a little more. Sorry about that. Turn this light off. Sometimes that's as a LED light really puts out a lot of light. So, and I went ahead and mounted the wing. Usually I don't mount the wing until I have it covered to make it easier. But the way I readjusted the wing so it would sit a little bit down, and I had kind of made it was a little loose fit. So I just went ahead and assembled it as on the wing, and I added myself some paper to make covering a little easier here on this area. It's just actually I cut it off the edge of the plans here, and I've also cut off the edge of the plans some strips of paper. And what that I do is I create me a stop for my cowling. This will prevent if I hit something, or if I hit something when the plane lands, then I want to build up a little ring around this. Don't look at your models. Put a ring on it. Get married. No, I'm just joking. That's a little. Yeah, marry your model if you care about them. I married mine 30 years ago, 31 years ago. Anyway, uh, put a ring around here. That's just to prevent. It is not going to hurt. You're going to need nose weight anyway. So I'm trying to create a thickness, basically the thickness of this plastic around here, so that if it hits it, it don't just shove on here, and what it does, it just splits the plastic. It mushrooms on or pushes on here, and all it does. But if you have a good even location for it to bump up against, then I have found that prevents it to move forward and it don't break them. So they hold up pretty good. So and then I will be drilling a hole here. See the little thing I added right there and right on the other side, both sides. This will be guides, and then I'll drill holes in there and put some little. Use some stringers and make little pins to hold this. All this here will be cut out. That way I can have a big old hole here, and then that way if I need to pack in some clay or whatever, none of this will be here. That'll be cleaned out, and then this will be solid, and then I'll let my rubber go through this hole, or if I have to replace it, I can take it off and put another one in here. The rubber band should fit in this hole if you keep the weight down. Right now I'm only at 14 point, I want to say 14.3 grams, 0.14 grams and 3/10 according to that scale there. And yeah, so I'll be covering it. So let's go ahead, and I've got a little clip I'm going to add in here of me joining the wing before I set it on here. So that's going to come up now. All right, let's join these wing halves. I got my right and left wing half. I have put some saran wrap down, and I'm going to join these ring halves. Okay, I have cut me a piece of balsa to this back portion here, and then I'm going to give myself some dihedral. The plan should give you an estimated dihedral height, and I'm going to put this on here and glue it. I'm going to use thin CA to speed up this process. keep it straight. You want a straight wing, you gotta keep it straight. Alright. I'm gonna keep that propped up on this side. And something to keep it propped up. Because I'm gonna use the same size on the other side. Moving this to this side. Putting it right over here. Looking down over the plans, make sure I got them straight. I'm sorry, I don't have my microphone on. I took a break there for a second. I didn't put my microphone back on. Let's see. Can we tell the difference? Did that come back on? Is my back on or is it working? I don't know. Okay, group that straight. I'm gonna be gluing that in place. Now this is just a what they call a butt joint. So I will be adding a gusset in here to help support this wing. That's where it's staying in place. Okay. And then right in the front, I'll put this piece. I'll make sure it's the same as the back. Exactly the same. And it is. Maybe not square. Double check that. Trying to hold that dihedral angle. I'm going to use the CA, the thin CA here. Okay. That holds them together. Give it just a second for it to dry. The thin CA will dry pretty quickly. Hopefully that has added those two together. And I can bring it right over to the fuselage and see where it sits. Okay. Now that I have it on the fuselage, I will line it up, make sure it's lined up to the fuselage, not just to where it sits. I want to look at the wing area, I look at everything, and then seeing how it looks to the, not just to the, just to the saddle area here, but I want to look at it all over where it's, make sure that the model, the wing is sitting on here nice, straight, true to the fuselage. And if I feel that it's in there straight, then I'm going to mount this wing. All right, thanks for viewing. And then now that we're here, we're going to start putting on this little ring around here. Okay, I have started it. Now I'm not going to let it go around all the way because it's hard to put it smoothly. And there's also going to be that little tab, that little piece. I'm going to make a piece of wood that fits that location there. So that'll be on the bottom. So once I've got a piece on here, then I'm going to trim it. I'm going to put some glasses on. Okay, trim this off. And okay, I got to there's no need of me trying to put extra paper on there than what I need, so I'm going to get what I need here, bring it around, give myself a clip to see where I'm working with. Okay. Here's my glue. By putting your glue on these little pieces of plastic, this is an old RC fuel bottle, and when the glue dries, you just flex them, and they scrape off. You can use them over and over and over, and have a good clean place to put some epoxy or some white glue, PVA. If you use super glue, that don't work too well, but for just plain old white glue or school glue, it works fine. I'm going to use a Q-tip here, and I'm going to wipe that on. Yeah, it seems like I'm putting more than I need, but it'll squirt out. And if you don't put enough, then hard to work with. Tap this down, make sure that they're in line with the other one. Press it down. And if I didn't go all the way, I'll have to lift it up. Now you want to make sure if it breaks, don't worry about it. Just put down what you got in the right location, because you're going to need more than one layer for sure. That will dry pretty fast. So always add more glue. Press it down. Okay, and then I'm going to cut off the excess on the bottom here, because I'm not going to need it on the bottom. Okay, there's another ring. I'm probably holding it out of the view. I apologize for that, but I will keep. It usually takes about 4 pieces, and it is a little messy. It's sort of like a hodgepodge here. I'm getting this to stick to it. I'm getting it to lay down smoothly and stick to it. And then I can still test fit. Let's see how it's starting to feel. It's starting to bump up against it there. And that's what you want. Let's get another one going. I want to make sure I got enough that goes all the way around it. And then apply the glue. This is adding weight, basically where weight is needed. Now you may have a better way of putting your nose cowl on. This is, to me, the simplest that I could think of and share with others. A lot of people will make their own nose cowl, but since we're using what come in the box for the contest, then you can always use your paper on your plans. And there's that one. Press it down so it's going in the right place. I'm holding it out of the camera shot again, and I look, and then I'm out of the camera shot. There you go. I want to just pat this down, make sure that it's sticking good. You can't rub this a whole lot. With it just being paper, it will peel. So I will trim this off. And there's Grand Central Station coming in. I don't know that number. Okay. If you ever call me or want to call me, remember that I don't answer numbers. But if you really want to talk to me, you can leave me a message. Tell me to call you back at a certain time, or try to call you back at that time that you'll be available. I don't just randomly call you. And I'll be glad to call you back. We're not trying to say I won't talk to people, but I just don't have no time to waste with soliciting calls or calls that are kind of useless to me. Not trying to be mean. It's just the way it is. That's 3. I'm starting to feel pretty level across here. I'm making a good even stop. Where I have some kind of bumper guard to protect it. Let's go one more. That's 3 so far. And I got one more piece here, so it worked out. I'd cut enough for 3, I think. Make sure I have plenty. Go around to the next. Okay. See if I can get, I may get me a little bit more glue before I start. I filled up my glue bottle. Now the reason I'm doing this, I guess I've done explained that, but it was the simplest way I could think of to do the job. Still use the original cowling. And I found it works. Yeah, it works. So I've got glue on my fingers here. I want to, by rubbing your hands together like this, sometimes it wipes off the glue. But just school glue, you know. All right, I'm going to pack the cowling on there to make sure it's sitting good. Yep, and I'm just a little past the level now. I can tell that. Okay, that's good. I will let that dry, and then I can start. I'll add something to this to make it stay in place, and then I'll add me a little wooden block underneath it to fill in this area here for the looks of the model, so it has a nice smooth finish. And like I said, usually I don't put the wing on and glue it down, but I did. I'm going to cut some paper to make my windshields on the side, and just cut me some little strips to make it look like windows, and glue in my plastic, and then put those paper on top of it. Okay guys, this is it. We're getting close to being ready to start flying. Thank you for being a part of this 2023 Build Off Fly Off. I hope I've said something that has inspired you to try the hobby. I hope doing this together is give you some ideas of how you could make your model fly a little more efficiently. This is, I have glued a piece of wood on the back, as you can see. That is so I can control more of the angle. That way I have sanded a little bit to get it the angle I want, and the wing, I brought it down in the front so it's setting a little more, little less pitch up, so that so it will be hopefully a better glide. It just won't know until I get it all together and start testing. When I get ready to that point, what I'll do is I'll put this on here, and I will put a rubber band in here that I'll plan on trying to use, and I'm not going to put the propeller on. I'm just going to put a big old clob of clay on here and go toss this like a glider. I'm going to try my best to just throw it like a glider. And my light's still on. Yeah, still on. So, sorry. I've been trying to talk softer. So, this thing was working fantastic. So, I really like it. And maybe we'll see how it works outside. I don't know how much of a range I have. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it will work outside. And what I'll do is when I'll put the weight in here for the rubber band for my trim flights, then I'm going to just put no propeller. I'll just put clob of clay on here, and I'll throw it till I get, I think, the best glide I can possibly get out of that. Then I'm going to bring it in and locate my CG with that flight. I'm going to put my CG location, a little dots or something on here, and then I'll put the propeller on, and I won't change a thing. Because when the propeller starts turning, you're creating lift. Actually, the weight of the propeller kind of goes away a little bit. So that extra weight of the propeller will add a weight when it starts unwinding, but that might be what you need, because you'll let it nose drop and bring it in. So my goal is to try to find that CG of that nice glide, and then when I bring it and put my propeller back on, I'll probably leave it at that CG just to give it some testing. If it seems to be too nose heavy, of course we'll readjust. But most of the time, when the propeller is spinning up, it kind of takes away the weight, because it's a pulling and the weight is not as effective of the propeller. All right, there's another tidbit. You guys have a good day. This is Doyle. See you later. Bye.